Former President Donald Trump finds himself embroiled in yet another legal battle, this time concerning the deportation of Venezuelan migrants. Trump, known for his hardline stance on immigration, faces resistance from a federal judge attempting to halt these deportations. This case highlights the ongoing tension between the executive branch's immigration enforcement goals and the judicial branch's role in upholding due process and humanitarian considerations. The outcome of this legal battle has far-reaching implications for U.S. immigration policy and the lives of countless Venezuelans seeking refuge on American soil. The case centers around the legality of Trump-era immigration policies, specifically those targeting Venezuelan nationals. The judge's decision to block deportations stems from concerns over the Trump administration's adherence to legal procedures and potential violations of asylum seekers' rights. The judge's stance has been lauded by human rights groups and immigration advocates who argue that deporting Venezuelans back to a country grappling with political turmoil and economic collapse would be inhumane and potentially life-threatening. Trump's legal team argues that the former president acted within his authority to enforce immigration laws and secure the border. They maintain that the judge's attempt to block deportations undermines the executive branch's power and sets a dangerous precedent for future immigration enforcement efforts. Trump's supporters argue that his policies are necessary to deter illegal immigration and protect American jobs and security. They claim that the judge's ruling is an example of judicial overreach in an attempt to thwart the will of the American people. The judge's decision to block Venezuelan deportations has been met with both praise and criticism. Supporters of the ruling, including human rights organizations and immigration lawyers, argue that it provides a much-needed layer of protection for vulnerable individuals fleeing persecution and hardship. They point to the dire situation in Venezuela, where political repression, economic collapse, and widespread human rights abuses have forced millions to flee their homes in search of safety and a better life. The judge's ruling is based on the principle of non-refoulement, a cornerstone of international law that prohibits countries from returning asylum seekers to places where they would face a credible threat of persecution. The judge found that the Trump administration's efforts to expedite deportations, often without providing adequate due process or considering asylum claims, violated this fundamental principle. The ruling also raises concerns about the Trump administration's use of expedited removal processes, which have been criticized for denying individuals a fair opportunity to present their cases and access legal counsel. Critics of the ruling, including Trump and his allies, argue that it ties the hands of immigration enforcement agencies and encourages more illegal immigration. They claim that the judge's decision ignores the real threats posed by illegal immigration, including drug trafficking, human smuggling, and terrorism. They also argue that the ruling places an undue burden on American taxpayers and undermines the rule of law. Trump and his legal team have vowed to appeal the ruling, arguing that it represents a gross overreach of judicial power and sets a dangerous precedent for future immigration enforcement efforts. They maintain that the former president acted within his constitutional authority to protect national security and enforce immigration laws. Trump's supporters echo these sentiments, claiming that the judge's decision undermines the will of the American people who elected Trump on a platform that included stricter immigration policies. Trump's legal team argues that the judge's decision ignores the separation of powers enshrined in the Constitution, which grants the executive branch broad authority over immigration enforcement. They contend that the judiciary should not interfere with the executive branch's ability to carry out its constitutional duties. Trump's allies have also accused the judge of being politically motivated, suggesting that the ruling is part of a broader effort by the left to undermine Trump's legacy and obstruct his agenda. Legal experts have offered differing opinions on the merits of the judge's ruling and the likelihood of a successful appeal. Some scholars argue that the judge's decision is well-founded in law and precedent, while others believe it is vulnerable to being overturned on appeal. The outcome of this legal battle could have significant implications for the future of U.S. immigration policy, particularly regarding the treatment of asylum seekers and the balance of power between the executive and judicial branches. The legal battle over Venezuelan deportations underscores the deep divisions within American society over immigration policy. Trump's hardline stance on immigration, which resonated with his base but alienated many others, has sparked intense debate and legal challenges. The judge's ruling in this case reflects the ongoing struggle to reconcile competing values, national security concerns versus humanitarian obligations, the rule of law versus compassion for those seeking refuge. This case also highlights the plight of Venezuelans who have fled their homeland in search of safety and opportunity. The ongoing political and economic crisis in Venezuela has created one of the largest displacement crises in the world, with millions seeking refuge in neighboring countries and beyond. The United States has become a destination for many Venezuelans, but their legal status and future in the country remain uncertain. The outcome of this legal battle could have far-reaching implications for U.S. immigration policy and the lives of countless Venezuelans seeking refuge in the United States. A victory for Trump and his allies could embolden the administration to pursue even more restrictive immigration policies, while a setback for the Trump administration could force a re-evaluation of its approach to immigration enforcement and asylum procedures. The case also serves as a reminder of the human cost of political and economic turmoil, and the responsibility of nations to provide refuge to those fleeing persecution and hardship.